It's really embarrassing when some of you are saying, well, he needs to be a two-way player. Well, what the hell does that mean? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You run for him. He plays the piano, you carry it. Are we done here? I want him making the pass, not you. And I hope your fucking coach has the balls to tell you that. I knew exactly what was going on. And when I reported something about the situation, it just kind of spiraled out of control. Those jokers over at ESPN decided to call me a clown. So this is my opportunity to return the favor. You both are a couple. All right, there you are. Here I am. It's been a while. I guess there's some sort of an apology in there, but we'll get to that. And I don't think it's going to come from me. All right, today's Unleashed. I am Eric Wynalda, if you haven't already figured that out. And this will be a little bit unleashed today because the topic happens to be a very familiar topic over the last couple of years, Gio Reyna. You can now submit your apologies in the column down below. If you want to respond to this particular podcast, feel free. But make sure if you're one of them, you put an apology on the end of it. Let me explain how we got here. And I'm very hesitant to say the words that I'm about to say simply because the last time we were here, you couldn't fucking handle it. And when I'm talking to you, what I mean is the media and a lot of the fans out there in our support system, which doesn't seem to get it and says awful things without a full understanding of what exactly has transpired. Let's recap, okay? The World Cup happened. It happened in that little country all the way across the world. It happened at the wrong time of the year, and it happened, and it was over before it started. And Gio Reyna didn't have particularly a very good World Cup. And then in the aftermath, there was a lot of things said by the former manager, Greg Berhalter, who has since moved on, and he's gone to Chicago. He took that team to the playoffs this year. Congratulations, Greg. But early exit, but I mean, certainly an upgrade for what Chicago Fire. Being an ex-player, I actually appreciate that, Greg. Great work. Now, in this entire story, a couple of friendships have been fragmented. I've been accused of a lot of things. It just happened to be one of those scenarios where I was too much on the inside. I knew what was going on. I knew exactly what was going on. And when I reported something about the situation with Gio Reyna and the rift between himself and our former manager, Greg Berhalter, it just kind of spiraled out of control. And at some point within that, I actually tried to recant my story. Now, the reason why I did that, to be very clear, is because I didn't want it to be a story. I didn't want it to be something that would be some sort of reason for these guys not to focus on what they were doing over there. I did not want to be a distraction. I did not want this. I've been in enough of these World Cups to know what a distraction can do to fragment a team. But within all of this, those jokers over at ESPN, what are their names? Sebastian Salad Bar and Hercules something. Those guys decided to call me a clown. So this is my opportunity to return the favor. You both are a couple of clowns. Now, I get it that you weren't on the inside, even though you were right there. You had flown all the way to Qatar and you were sitting in a studio trying to report on this. And you didn't know what the hell was going on. And the fact that I did know what was going on is not something that I'm going to apologize for. And I still have yet to get an apology from either one of you idiots. But here we are, a couple years removed from that. And my concern is, because this is going to happen again, and I'll explain in a second. This is going to we're going to hit the reset button, and there's reasons why. And I'm not going to get into it. Because again, you can't handle it. You just can't. You can't. But I am totally convinced that Sebastian Berhalter and Gio Reyna can handle this. I think they're pros. I think they understand what's at stake. And I also think that they're great. They both have the ability to be great contributors to our World Cup team in 2026. The problem might very well be that when that list is announced, I without a doubt, and I never have lost faith that Gio Reyna will be on that list. I know that a lot of you have. A lot of you have thrown rocks at him. There's been a lot of pundits who have decided to question his character and or his ability to stay healthy. But a lot of those guys that have come out, and women who have come out and really decided to attack him for all the wrong reasons, were just looking for an excuse to make the former story a reality. Sometimes the perception of reality outweighs, or at least confuses the likes of most of you, and you didn't know how to handle this, and you still don't. Gio Reyna will be on the World Cup team. And again, as I started this podcast, you can submit your apologies at the front. You just go ahead, just click, you know what to do. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Thanks, Eric, for enlightening me. Something along those lines would be great. Gio Reyna's performance the other day against Paraguay was nothing short of everything that he needed to do to convince some of us, not myself, that he was going to be a contributor in the World Cup. I think Mauricio Pochettino has kind of walked into this thing sideways. I don't think he has a full understanding of what has happened, or if he does, he certainly doesn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. In the press conference the other day, you could see the questions were asked. How familiar are you with what has happened with Gio Reyna and his parents and Greg Berhalter and Greg Berhalter's wife, and the fact that there is now another Berhalter who happens to be a part of the family on the team? How aware of, and he basically said a couple of things along the lines as, I believe in the players. I think they're intelligent. Clever was also a word he used. And he's right. He's right. When you're in these kind of scenarios, you don't have time for all of the peripheral stuff. You don't really listen to it. You simply are trying to focus in on how you can help the team, how you can make the team and be a part of something incredibly special. And that's the 2026 World Cup on our soil. It's an amazing opportunity. And the sad part about this is it might very well come down to a couple of roster spots. And it will be very interesting to see how Mauricio Pochettino handles it. I currently don't have Sebastian Berhalter in my 23. I have him 26th. Now, that doesn't mean he might not make the team. Do your history on this. There's been guys who have made the team, got hurt when they tried to go from sleep to sprint because they were playing Major League Soccer, got hurt, didn't make the team, and they needed to be replaced. It's happened time and time again. It usually happens with Major League Soccer players. It doesn't really happen with the European guys, for whatever reason. I could get into that, but I don't want to. But if it comes down to it, that this team is announced and Mauricio Pochettino has selected somebody else other than Sebastian Berhalter, my concern is that some of you are going to try and open up this can of worms again and make it about all the wrong things, and then not be able to support the team and or start throwing rocks at our guys. And that really bothers me. It really does. The last couple of months have been really hard for me to endure because I am somebody who watches these games, has a pretty keen understanding of what it takes to play in a World Cup or to be a national team player for that matter. And Gio Reyna has done nothing to deserve some of the crap that he has gotten. He's had to answer some questions. He can't do anything about what has already transpired and maybe the mistake that his parents made by some of the accusations that they made. They felt that they were within their realm to take that route. I think they would even recognize it as a catastrophic mistake. Now, does it have to have a catastrophic effect on Gio Reyna? No, it doesn't. And it's already been very difficult for this man, a young man, to navigate through a regular season. He's still at Dortmund, right? And then everybody just attacks him. Things start to go wrong. And he basically just feels like, I got to get out of here. And he joins his buddy, Joe Scally, who, believe it or not, was a big part of that original story. And now they play their football at Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's had a couple of performances in there. He hasn't really secured a starting role, but it was a good move. It was a great move. He's gotten married over the summer, which I think is a great balancer. It's going to level him to a certain extent, not in that way, but to have someone to share this journey with, and to start a family and all the things that I think is very dear to Gio. will have a lasting effect on his career. I think he's always been uber talented, put in a spot where he was expected. Maybe sometimes the expectations were a little bit too high, but he's finally in a pocket of his life at a very good time, and timing is everything, that he's going to be able to really help the U.S. national team. Now, if you pick your 11, you can, and we all have varying opinions about this, you may or may not have him in the best 11. I do. I think he is, by far, one of the most talented players. If he stays healthy and he continues with that big smile and that attitude that we saw the other night, and you saw the way his teammates reacted when he scored, it's very clear that he was never the problem. It's very clear that these guys really enjoy playing with him. And he has said all the right things, and now he's doing all the right things. A goal and an assist. It took him 4 minutes to make his point. And I'm not going to lie. I jumped off of my couch and I was punching the sky. I was so happy for him because I love this game. I love the fact that we have talented players like him in our team. I do not appreciate what has happened to him, but I respect him more now and his character for what he has overcome, and for the performance that he put in the other night, and the performance that he may very well put in against Uruguay. We are on a Tuesday, which we have not yet seen with the starting lineup, but you would be really out of line not to root for this kid, or to hope that he can start really tapping into his potential. It's a different set of players. It isn't the full complement, but Gio Reyna's back. I'm enjoying it more than most because I really, truly care about this boy. And I'm really hoping that he will be able to overcome what has happened. It really is unfortunate. Now, with all that being said, back to the part, please, if you are a United States national team supporter, grow up a little bit. I understand that some of the things that have happened are absolutely ridiculous, were unnecessary, but it's happened and it's over. But we don't have time for this shit right now. We don't have time for you getting on your computer and or your device and blasting Gio Reyna and or saying things along the lines of like it's really embarrassing when some of you are saying, well, he needs to be a two-way player. Well, what the hell does that mean? Seriously? Are you just looking for a reason to challenge his performance and say it wasn't all the way there, and until he becomes a two-way player, he's never going to be? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. In these kind of games, in World Cups, in national team, country versus country games, we need our special players to be rested and ready to go. Because if you get the ball and you've just spent the last 30, 45 seconds chasing, which is not your job, what the hell you expect him to do when he gets the ball? He's going to navigate out of that, make a pass, and try and catch his breath. Other guys need to understand, the McKennies of the world, the Tyler Adams of the world, you run for him. He plays the piano, you carry it. Are we done here? Understand your role. Because if we get in a spot where it's time to make the final pass, I want him making the pass, not you. And I hope your fucking coach has the balls to tell you that, because it will determine whether our national team does well in a World Cup or not. It starts with you, folks. Gio Reyna is back. Deal with it. We'll see you next time.